Hey, Mr. Sebastian Rochard, it's Arturia, it's NAMM 2019, and new stuff from you guys, right?
That's right. Many new stuff, some in the Audifuse range, I guess we'll cover that afterwards, and also this new baby called Microfreak. It's a new synthesizer, it's a new range for us, the beginning of a new range called the Freak range. This is a small synthesizer with a digital oscillator analog filter. I think that sums it up the best. So if we have a quick look at it, this is the oscillator section with the orange knobs. Then you get the analog filter. It's an SEM inspired filter. So 12 dB state variable filter, cycling envelope, and an LFO. And then you have arpeggiator, sequencer. I'll cover all of these in detail. You have the matrix, modulation matrix, inspired by what we did on the matrix brute to show directly in a matrix view the modulation routings. And at the bottom, the keyboard is it's a printed circuit board, so it's a PCB keyboard, like some vintage synths as well, and with pressure sensitive, which can be velocity or aftertouch, and poly aftertouch, because each key gets its own sensor, so it's poly aftertouch. The sequencer is a quite full-featured 64-step sequencer with some random gate generator. I think we'll cover that afterwards.
Yeah.
And a quick look at the back panel for now, where we get CV and gate outputs, and clock in and out, MIDI in and out, and of course audio and USB. It can be powered on USB, so you just plug a USB cable, and I used it with a power bank in the plane just to prepare my demo, or with a computer. All right, so let's go through these
Can I ask
features.
a quick question? Are the oscillators, is it in conjunction with mutable instruments? Was
Yeah.
that right? Yeah.
So the oscillator, it's called digital oscillator and can have multiple types. If I browse here, you can see on the screen that I can navigate through a list of different modes. And those modes are either some that we designed internally at Arturia, or that are taken from the mutable instrument plates oscillator. So we teamed up with Emily to build to get these engines, some of the engines of plates in Microfreak. So those who made the most sense for us. Some modes which also were in plates we redesigned ourselves because we wanted a different flavor, like the wavetable, for instance. Yeah. So let's
listen.
Let's have a quick listen. I'll just play a preset for now. So this is using the super wave mode. Velocity gets the speed of the envelope on the pitch. So if I play slow, it's got a long envelope, and if I play fast, it's got a shorter envelope.
So is the SEM filter multimode? It is, isn't it?
It is low pass, band pass, and high pass. It's not continuous, but it's the structure of the filter is a state variable filter.
Yeah.
So this was just a bass sound. It can also do some classic kind of analogish sound.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Here the velocity controls the amount of envelope on the filter. So as you can hear, it's actually quite playable. Getting this level of playability on the aftertouch and the velocity was quite a challenge, but it's nice to.
Has it got? Can you play it via external MIDI as well?
Yeah, you can play via external MIDI as well. Yeah. So let's just go. Let's play with this one. This is an arpeggiator preset. So I'll just hold the note. Quick listen to the filter. So this is the VA oscillator for the pair of classic waveforms from Platt. So it can do hard sync. Let's use the cycling envelope. It can either be just an envelope ADSR, or it's a kind of a rise fall with shape control for each stage. And either like a red triggered LFO or just free running. So in this mode, it's a red triggered LFO. I'm using it on the filter.
So you can go quite high into audio range.
Yeah. Let's set a big amount.
Nice. Are there any built-in effects, or is it?
No. No. There are no effects in this one. I guess the main reason was, well, first it was to get the cost down as much as we could, and the form factor. If we had effects, my feeling was, if you get effects on a synth, it's interesting once you can modulate them. If it's just to add some beauty to them, you can add them externally. And we try to get the footprint as small as we could.
Okay.
So no effects on this one.
And did someone say it's paraphonic as well? There's actually
it is paraphonic. It is paraphonic. So let's play back with this, or just let's try this preset maybe. This is something I did in the plane. It's you can play up to 4 notes of paraphony. And what I did was use the pressure to kind of move the an organ register, I would say. And you can get control just with the polyphonic aftertouch to get different.
Oh, that's nice. What's this here?
So this has 3 modes. It's either just a simple bend, or it's got these spice and dice modes, which are related to the arpeggiator and sequencer. So let's listen. Let's go back to this R preset. Hold the notes. So the way it works is, spice is kind of a global amount of randomness. When it's at 0, the screen shows you, and when it's at 0, it just plays some regular notes. And when I raise it, it modifies the gauge sequence. So it can either do shorter or longer notes. It can do silences, it can do ties, and it can do ratchets.
So it's like probability. Or
it's a random gauge generator. So spice is just the amount of randomness. The global control, when I go back to 0, it's just a simple sequence, and then increase. And the dice, it kind of reshuffles the sequence. So the more I press this, the more it's gonna randomize the sequence.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the idea was kind of, we don't want to get like too deep in control of each step. That's not the purpose of this instrument. And same with the oscillator. You have many modes, and you kind of just shuffle around with them and find some interesting, some happy accidents. That was kind of the philosophy of this instrument, to generate some strange encounters, I guess. That's also, I mean, the name, the freak, it's written Grande Folie on it, which means like a touch of madness in English. So I don't know, it was kind of the motive to do this instrument. Yeah.
So in terms of the CV control, can you sorry, is it in and out?
It's got out only. It's got out only. We kind of questioned that, and it seemed like having the small sequencer, it made a lot of sense to have it also control external stuff.
Right,
like when I was prototyping, I had also a plates module alongside, just to compare and to work on it, and getting the CV output and having both at the same time. It's really interesting. So
presumably, because there's digital oscillator in there, it's possible that other models may come along in the future as well, right?
Yeah. For now, there are 11, and it's extremely likely that we'll add some more in the future. There's a lot of room for improvement. I mean, not for improvement, but to add new modes. And the way it's done with the knobs just named waves, timbres, and shape, which doesn't really mean anything. It's just to give them some name.
These are rotaries, right?
These are encoders, yeah.
Right, okay.
These are encoders, and the display shows you their value. Another thing I could show maybe is the kind of the meta mode from plates or braids, where each
interesting.
So that's a sequence where each step gets its own type. So I'll go back to the sequencer right after. I'll let this one play. So what's happening here is we have modulation of the wave, timbre, shape, and type at the same time, and plus some modulations from the matrix. So each time the sequence is going to repeat, it's going to have different tones.
That's groovy.
But yeah, and so yeah, the fun part is being able to modulate the type in the sequence. If we go to a simple sequence, let's just take the reset. I'll show the sequencer. So Shift plus ARP to activate sequencer, and then either real-time or step sequencing. I'll just do some step sequencing. So activate record. The sequencer is shown on the right side of these buttons. So it's got A, B, which are two patterns you can write, and record and play. So let me just. Oh, it's good. Tempo, right?
That's beefy, actually,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So let's put a longer length, stack length. I'll just set it to.
Can you add swing as well?
Yeah. I'll just set a bit of swing to it, like say 58%. I'll just random sequence. Up 116. So this is just a simple sequence, and I can record up to 4 tracks of automation on top of that. So the previous preset I showed you had the type and the oscillator mode. So right now let's just activate real-time recording. I can also, just to show it, can rewrite the sequence with in real time. So each time I record it and turn it up, it's going to record for 1 rotation and then stop recording. So I'll just.
Oh, nice.
So it gets the automation.
Simple but effective, right?
It's simple and effective. And now let's play with maybe say paraphonic. So now notes kind of overlap with each other. And now maybe spice and dice. Yeah, just getting some notes out or reshuffling. Yeah.
It sounds good.
And that's something I love with this instrument is, I'll tell the price, it's €299 in dollars.
Oh wow,
yeah,
okay. So
and
that's good.
the amount of, well, I won't say features, but the sound diversity that you can get with this one, it's pretty crazy for the price. You know, the sequencer is very full featured. The oscillator being digital and with all these different modes, you get so many flavors of sounds. I think there's a right balance between simplicity. I mean, for someone who knows synthesis, you get like a classic filter, you get envelopes, so things that will be familiar from the start. But the oscillator and the keyboard with the kind of weird sequencer, gauge generator are things that, pushes to experimentation. Yeah. And even for experts, like sound designers at Arturia are saying, this is something I'm going to use like in my live sets.
And also it's kind of nice, to be able to introduce some digital into the world as well, because analog's great, but there has its limitations, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's it's one flavor or multiple flavors, but digital oscillator just opens to so many other flavors. You don't get that beefy low end that you would get with a 3 oscillator playing an octaves, but that's not the only sound that you want to get.
You get a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So when's this going to be around?
Some units are being produced right now, a few of them, and production is going to ramp up in the upcoming months. I think between March and May.
Chinese New Year coming up pretty soon. They have a big holiday in the factories, don't they?
Exactly,
So,
exactly. There's this. So I think between March and May we're going to have units across the globe.
Sebastian, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Exciting stuff.
Thank you.